Hi guys, welcome back to the Once You're In podcast. This is now episode 77. It's another special episode because we've got our favourite substitute. It's Mr. Josh Croggon on the podcast again. The reason Josh is on is because Reece is in Canada. I did ask Reece if he could do the podcast. We have this thing where like if one of the other ones on holiday, we'll say like, "Do you want to do the podcast? If not, don't worry." And he just didn't get back to me. And then I put the story on saying that Josh is on, and within like 2 minutes, he messaged me like, "I could have done it." It's like, well, you should have messaged me on WhatsApp then. So yeah, Reece is. I think he said it's like 3:30 in the morning there. So we wouldn't have done it at this time usually though. But anyway, Reece isn't here. Josh is here, a very tanned looking Mr. Croggon. So fresh back from it was the Maldives, wasn't it?
It was, mate. It was.
Tell us all about it. How are you first of all, mate? And then tell us
Oh,
what.
I'm great. I'm a little bit jet lagged. I'm not gonna lie. It's like they were Maldives just 5 hours ahead. So I've been up, or I've kind of been laid in bed since like 3:30 this morning, which has been nice. Yeah, holiday was sick. Basically, just ate as much food as I could. Sunbathed all day. Played a bit of tennis, did a bit of snorkeling, swam with sharks. Yeah, it was sick. Like literally, like just best holiday ever.
Yeah, it looked proper good. It did look good. Are you any good at tennis?
I'm terrible.
So back in the day, me and one of my mates from back at home used to play tennis like pretty regularly. Like there was a tennis court like 2 minutes from his house. We'd play probably like 2-3 times a week, and we got like pretty good. Like I wasn't that good, but we got pretty good, right?
Good.
We got pretty good. We went on holiday to Portugal, and there was a tennis court there, and we were known as like, oh, the tennis boys. Are you like, do you play tennis? Are you pros? Like honestly, people thought we were elite. We were pretty good at the time, but yeah, that's as far as my tennis journey went. Although I do like playing tennis.
I thought you were going to tell me that you played like Rafa Nadal and beat him.
And then I went to Wimbledon, and then I used to enjoy playing tennis, but then I just became too much of a BB, so I can't do anything else. You can't play tennis. I don't know how you play tennis, mate. You're too big.
Oh, terrible! Like honestly, the day after,
smashed it out on the court every time.
So yeah. Oh, my serve, I couldn't like fully extend up, so it was just like kind of like a side sweep. It was tragic, but you know what? Good fun. I feel like I've atrophied nicely while I was playing tennis.
Have you
just ended up skinny?
Have you checked your body weight from when you went to when you got back?
Yeah, I weighed myself this morning.
What was it?
I weighed myself a couple of times whilst we were over there, and I was like 6 kilos up after, I don't know, like a week.
Fucking hell. That's mental.
This morning, I weighed myself, and it's come back down. I think I'm only like 3 up, which that's really good. I'm fine with that. Yeah,
I'm always the opposite. I always end up losing weight on holiday, but I guess like you say, you literally just, it was like just a proper chilled holiday. Like a lot of the time, a lot of the recent holidays I've been on, it's like city breaks or you're away for a week, but you're always doing stuff like that. Sounds like it was just like a proper chilled one.
Yeah, it's like the first chilled holiday that I've been on since I was like a kid. So yeah, it made a nice change. Like obviously you went to Sorrento, didn't you, in the summer? I did the same, just at a different time. And you do end up just racking up loads of steps on them kind of holidays.
Yeah, we had a few days where we like just chilled out, but even the days where we chilled out, it's like, right, we'll go on a drive and then we'll walk down to the beach and then we'll walk to get some lunch. It's like you end up getting 12,000 steps or whatever. Like as if you like when we went to Egypt like years ago, even then, like I do still like to stay somewhat active, like say like doing like swimming and tennis and stuff like that. But like you get up, go for breakfast, and then like it's midday and you've just laid down, like you've literally done nothing. They are nice, those holidays, but I think you got to break it up with like I can't just do that for like people go on 2-week holidays and they just literally sleep and drink and sunbathe. Like I can't do that. I've got to be doing stuff like to an extent.
There were people there that were like, there was this one guy, I'll tell you about him because you'll like him. He was like Russian or something, and all he did was walk around.
A little bit racist there, mate. Sorry to any Russians.
Sorry, Russians. But all he did was walk around and go, "Yeah, buddy, yeah, really? Buddy." Yeah. He'd like order a pint. Yeah, buddy. Like, all right, mate.
Was he saying it as if he was like Ronnie Coleman, or was he just saying
Literally, no, honestly, but like he was taking the mick out of Ronnie
it's
Coleman.
me,
And I thought,
it's me and Reece
no.
in 20 years?
Yeah,
And we've gone
yeah.
insane, and it's all we can say.
But this same guy, he had 40 bottles of beer in one day.
Fucking hell.
And had them all like stacked up.
Yeah, was
Absolutely.
he like proud of it? Like, look at me, I've had this.
Oh yeah, yeah. So proud. So proud. On New Year's Eve, he like bought like a massive bottle of champagne and literally was walking around going, yeah, buddy.
What the fuck? Did you make friends with him? Did you train with him? Did you train while you were there at all? I say, did you train with him?
I trained whilst I was there. I didn't see him in the gym, funnily enough. I only ever saw him at a bar.
At the bar, that's strange.
Yeah. But yeah, training whilst I was there. I did like basically every other day. The equipment wasn't, it were all right, we're fine. I don't know what you can expect on a bloody remote island in the middle of the Indian Ocean. It was just, yeah, it was fine. It was fine. Yeah. Every other day.
You just do like upper, lower, or just a bit of a.
I did
train legs.
Yeah, that's it. I just didn't train. I trained legs once.
Yeah,
kind of.
How long were you away?
2 weeks.
Yeah, it's gone quick. Yeah. It don't feel like it's that long.
Mate, we've come home and like we've still got Christmas stuff that we need to sort out. Like it feels like we've been gone for ages.
Yeah,
that's went back to the Mecca last night. Oh, sorry, the hashtag Mecca last night.
Yeah, Mecca.
Got a pull session in, which went quite well. Actually managed a few PBs, which was quite a shock.
Yeah, it can often surprise you though. Like if your body weight's up and you're really well rested, like you come back and you're like, I'm just proper chilled. Like you still worked out there though, didn't you?
Yeah. Just the Wi-Fi was shit, so I just did like 2 or 3 hours every day.
That's so annoying though, isn't it? When you've got work, when you've got a lot to crack on with, and you can't. I can hate that. And it just builds up and builds up because the Wi-Fi is shit. Right, it's stressful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was there like 4G like useless? There was
no 4G. No 4G.
That's quite nice though. It forces you to stay off your phone and stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was talking to one of my clients this morning. Literally, it was pretty difficult to work, but at the same time, like I've come home, I'm well rested. I'm like super keen and ready to go. Yeah. It's kind of what you're going on holiday for, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's good. So what's your plan now in terms of like between now and when prep starts?
So I'm a little bit up in the air with it. I'm going to have like a week to kind of just go back on the normal plan, go back to normal eating, see where I land in about a week, 10 days time. If my weight comes down to what it were before I went on a holiday, which were about 89.5, 90 kilos, which isn't heavy for me, I'll probably do a little bit of a push up, to be fair. Try and increase food, try and move some weights that I've never moved before. And yeah, if my weight kind of stays as heavy as what it was this morning, I'll just try and bring it back down, basically. Yeah.
When are you starting prep?
I'm thinking May.
Yeah.
I'm proper debating whether to do like a pre-prep phase or not. I'm not heavy enough.
Yeah. I wouldn't. I think that's quite close as well. Like to do that now, I'd probably just be like, let the body weight come down because you'll lose another kilo or two just from getting back into routine. And then probably, like you say, just really gradually work up. You're not overly heavy, like you say. You're not soft. It's not like fucking hell, you need to diet. So yeah, I don't think you need to. And then how long would that give you from your first show if you were to start prep like beginning of May?
May, June, July, August, 5 months.
Sound.
Oh, he's pissed. I'm not worried one bit. And then
you've done it enough times now, haven't you?
Yeah, shows will be September, October, November. So yeah, exciting times.
Exciting, mate. Exciting. I've had like prep calls with clients over the past like week or so, and it's almost like every time I have the call with a client, it's like I can see my own prep as well. So like I haven't obviously, like I was saying to Josh, because I had the call with him the other night, and he was like, "Oh, what are you doing? Like, what shows are you doing and stuff?" So I explained it all to him, but I was like, I'm not really overthinking it. Like I've barely even planned it. Like I've written it down in my sheets and stuff, but I'm not like, right, I have to do this show and I have to do this show. Like I'm really chilled with it. Whereas I feel like last time I was like, right, I have to do this show, and I was like counting down. I'm exactly however many weeks out. Like, whereas now I'm like, I know I'm going to get in good shape. Like I'm going to give myself plenty of time. I'm starting from a much better start point than I was last time. I've put on a lot of muscle than compared to last time. Like, so like when I have these calls with people, it's like, oh, right, cool, you're doing this. That's pretty much what I'm doing. Like we're starting similar time, shows are similar. A lot of people want to do the UKDFBA Heart of England just because it's the closest show to the finals. A lot of people want to do the WNBF finals because you don't have to qualify. So like, you know, a lot of people are doing similar stuff anyway. So like I've almost found that I don't even have to think about my own prep because I've kind of planned out X amount of other people's preps, which is very similar anyway. So yeah, I was saying that I do think it definitely helps. Like the busier you are work-wise, the less you overthink and the less you stress about things. Like last time
you've got no time to be
exactly,
thinking.
yeah. Like last time I was relatively busy with work, but like nowhere near what I do now. Like I was PTing at the time, so I was more active, so my food could be higher and things like that. But like I'd constantly be thinking about it, like constantly be thinking about prep, constantly be thinking about when I was starting, constantly be thinking about my next meal. Like whereas now it's like, oh shit, it's time for my next meal because you just constantly got work to be doing. So I think that's going to be a blessing in disguise. I was saying the same to another client last night because she was like, should I book off time from work like around the shows, or when do you think I'll feel worse and I should book time off? And I was like, don't. Like you work will actually be massively helpful because it'll just keep you in a routine. It'll keep that structure. As soon as you book a week off work, you're sat thinking like, am I doing enough? Am I lean enough? You know, am I working hard enough? Like
I found last year I had a client who basically works with horses, so he's super active. And at 1 month I was like, yeah, I'm not working anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, why? So basically just matched his steps, matched his expenditure. But because he weren't having that like mental stimulus of working, it was like, I'm so hungry. It's like, mate, you sat around just thinking like the only thing that's on your mind is next meal, training, and drinking fluid. Like,
it makes a massive
difference. You may as well keep your routine, keep working, not worry about anything.
The thing is with that as well, like steps alone are a lot different to steps while you're working if you're doing like an active job. Like if you're a laborer and like, you know, you're carrying shit around all day, every day, like your steps will still look the same. So, I do 12,000 steps. But if you then just change that to doing 12,000 steps, just going on like leisurely walks, like that's massively different. Like you'd probably be burning like another 1,000 calories from being at work and actually they're like demanding steps. So I think people don't realize that. They just think like the steps are steps, no matter what, you know, no matter how many you do. Like if you do the same amount, they're the same, but they're not. Like it's the same thing with like adding weighted steps in. Like obviously, you know, that kind of replicates if you were to have like a job like that. But yeah, that makes a massive difference. And I've had clients who, even in off season, like they don't have a job, and there may be, I don't know, maybe in a gap year between like, you know, college and uni or something, and they just don't have anything to do. So all they think, oh, amazing, I can have a year where I just live as a bodybuilder. But it's actually a massive issue because they're just overthinking everything, and their training ends up being shit because they put so much pressure on it that 2 hours of the day that they need to make amazing because it's all they think about ends up being shit because they're overthinking it. I've had that loads of times. I'm like, just get a job, like, you know, keep yourself more busy. Yeah, it'll save you from that financial stress as well because you're making more money. Your quality of life will be better because you've got more money, so you can go out a little bit more and enjoy yourself a bit more. You know, go for meals and things like that, which massively reduces your stress. Like if you're sat indoors all day, every day, you've not got enough money to go out or, you know, buy things that you want. Like you're not going to be a good bodybuilder. Like even if you think that that's the perfect scenario, it's not, because you'll just be stressed. Like I've had times like that in the past, like where I thought that was going to be better for me as a bodybuilder. You think, oh, amazing. Like all I need to do is think about training and eating. I don't do anything else. You end up like fucking getting so stressed because you just overthink everything.
Have you ever had it where like a client is like going, oh, me and my girlfriend's broke up, like prep's going to get so much better.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily the case, mate, because you know the benefits of having a girlfriend or, you know, someone to vent to or whatever, that could potentially help you prep. It's only going to be beneficial, or leaving your girlfriend if your girlfriend's like I know, spiking your food with like shitloads of peanut butter.
That's what I was going to say. I think it depends on the relationship. I think for you, like, you'll probably compare it to your relationship now and you'll think, oh, that'd be horrible for my prep. And I'd think the same. But then also, like, I'll know people who are in like awful relationships and it's like, why are you in that relationship? Like, neither of you are happy. You both hate each other. Like, just fucking get out of it. Like, so
like Reece.
yeah, exactly. Like Reece and Sanaya last time. Like, if it was like that, I'd be like, fuck this. Obviously, for them, it was different because it was like quite a new relationship. So they didn't really know like what each other were like when they weren't both dieting. But if it's like, let's say you've been with someone for 5 years, thing is as well, like, I always try and like, especially like younger people, like, I'll try and not, I always say, like, I don't mean to be patronizing in any way, but like a lot of time people are just with their like, the school crush that they got with them when they were 14 and they're still with them when they're 19 because they just think that that's what they're supposed to do. And like, neither of them are happy. They have completely different hobbies, completely different goals. Like, do you really think that that's how you're meant to be with that person? Like, so I'll say that I'll never say like, don't get rid of it, like get out of that relationship. It's not my place to say.
Run.
But like, I'll always say, like, I've been there.
Checking feedback. Finn says I've got to leave you.
Sorry, you're gonna have to break up with him. But like, I'll always say that I've been in that position before where you're in a relationship where you're sort of like, why am I in this relationship? If you're thinking like that, just fucking get out of it. Like, especially when you're young. If you're 30 odd and you've got kids and you've got a mortgage and stuff, obviously it's like you've got a lot more responsibilities. But like, this is speaking from experience. Like, I've been in relationships before where it's like, what the fuck am I doing? And I look back now and I'm like, what was I doing? Like, why did I waste time being unhappy in a relationship just because I was in a relationship? You know what I mean? You just end up like coasting in it. So yeah, if it's like that, then I get it. You probably would benefit from it. Like, if you were prepping and you got out of a bad relationship. But like I say, if it's a decent relationship and it's just like you ended up breaking up because you were being a dick because you were prepping, you'll regret it afterwards. You'll be like, oh shit, I was being a dick.
Yeah. Anyway, right, that was a nice tangent. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Appreciate you asking.
Training?
Don't think Reece ever asked me. Although I don't really like talking about myself. I'm not a very good podcast host. Well, actually, I think I am a good host because I like talking about the other people I have on. I'm good, mate. Training is decent, not incredible. Like, still got a few issues to be working around, but it's getting better. Like, I managed to do a belt squat the other day, which was good because I've not been able to do any squat patterns with my hip for like months. And as soon as I do,
what's wrong with your hip?
I don't know, mate. This is what's frustrating.
Do you know what? I've got a theory.
I'm a massive pussy.
You are sat on your ass that much. Whenever you're on Instagram, you're just there sat. Oh yeah, I'm just sat in my chair. Yeah. Here you are, podcast host, sat on your ass.
Yeah. No, I do sit a lot, but it 100%. Like, my hip and my back is better when I'm walking. Like, I was saying this to Reece when we were in Liverpool. Oh, I'll talk about that a little bit. But yeah, like, we were sat down, we went to Tortilla. I don't know if you've been to Tortilla, mate. It's pretty good. It's like a little Mexican place. It's pretty good. And we were sat and I was like, my back is absolutely ruined. And like, every time we went for a meal, like, my back was absolutely killing. And when I'm walking, my back is absolutely fine. This chair is comfy, so I don't really notice it. But I think a lot of it is that I'm sat a lot. And the same, if I'm in the car, like, I don't really like training at Rotherham at the minute because the drive is like an hour. So I have to like stop off and walk. Like, we usually stop off and eat anyways, but like, what I usually do is I'll stop off, I'll eat, and then I'll crack on. Like, whereas now it's like I need to do like a 5-minute walk because otherwise my hip seizes up, my glute gets really tight, and then the whole session is not ruined, but the whole session is frustrating because it's like, my glute's not right, my hip's not right. It's just like it seizes up on the left side. It is strange, but it's a lot better than it was. But that's because I've had to manipulate training. So like, taking out a hinge, taking out a squat pattern. Like, for legs, I've just been doing isolations and leg press for months, and it's like, it's been all right. Like, it's been enough. Yeah, huh?
You sound like Thorburn.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I mean. This is why I don't talk about it a lot, because I don't want to be like Thorburn. Yeah. I don't want to like go into it and be like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. Like, because no one gives a fuck. Like, and I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, I literally don't give a shit. I need to just do what I can and make the most of it. I'm not going to feel sorry for myself. Like, I can still walk. I'm still alive. I'm not going to be like, oh, poor me. But I do have to manipulate my training around issues. So do loads of people. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
And it is getting better. So yeah, like, yeah, I just have to make sure that I'm being sensible with it. Because the thing is, like, it feels good for a session and I'm like, oh, mint, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this, I'll do that. And then it flares up and I'm like, well, which one was it? Was it because I added in the bent over row, or was it because I added in the hinge, or was it because I did a squat? Like, but the belt squat felt fine, hip feels fine. I can tell when a movement is really aggravating it, because like straight after, or even like during the set, it's like I can barely put weight on my left leg. Like, I'll do like a warm-up set on a hinge, like 140, like the actual set itself, like I'll do 2-3 reps, it feels like the weight is nothing, it feels so easy. And then as soon as I drop the weight and the tension's gone, it's like, fuck, like my hip it's weird. It's almost like my hip feels like it's come out of its socket. It's very odd. Like I'll take a step on my left side and it's like, feels as though it's like digging into my back, like my fucking leg. It's weird. But yeah, it's not been like that for a while because I've not done a hinge. I am going to try and introduce a hinge pretty soon because I can just tell my back looks like shit. Like my back looks horrendous at the minute because I'm not actually loading it very well because I can't. So like I'm doing like loads more volume through my back in terms of rows. Like yesterday I had my back session and I had 3 sets of a chest supported row, another 3 sets of a chest supported row, and then 2 sets of a non-supported row on a cable. So like even then, like I'm not loading my erectors. Like even on the cable row without the chest support, you're not loading your erectors really, are you? You're not in a hinged position. Like, but and I pose afterwards, and it's like I look like I've never trained back in my life. It's like what the fuck. But then when if I'm hinging, my back like looks a lot better. So yeah, and I definitely. It's not that I've said it before. It's not like oh you have to deadlift for a big back. Like I don't agree with that, but there is definitely a big difference, and I can see it visually, and I see it with my clients. Like those who can hinge and load their posterior well, their back looks bigger and is better. Like even if it's just from an acute response. I remember I had with Will, he hadn't hinged for a while because he had issues like with his leg, and then he put a hinge back in, and the week to week comparison on his check-in, like his erectors looked like 3 times as big. And it was like obviously it's just inflammation. It's not like your erectors have grown like 3 times in a week, but it does make a big difference. So yeah, I am going to be trying to introduce it again. But yeah, other than that, mate, things are good. I lost 4 pounds after the weekend in Liverpool. But to be fair, like steps were pretty high. Steps were really high one day because I went and looked at both the stadiums in the morning. So I had loads of work to get back to. So I was like, right, I'll go on a walk. I'll get back to like all my WhatsApps. And I was like, I could see a stadium in the distance. I was like, I was like, is it either Anfield or Goodison Park? I was like, I'll just go and walk towards it. It was Goodison Park. And I was like, well, obviously I'm close to Anfield. I'll just go and find Anfield. So I walked over like there. I can't remember what the park's called.
Stanley Park.
Stanley Park.
Stanley Park.
Yeah. I walked through Stanley Park, went to Anfield.
And then you saw it.
Yeah, and I was like, "Whoa!" No, it's not as good as Old Trafford.
Where do I get a shirt?
Yeah, I was trying to see if I could. I was at the players' entrance, stood there for 3 hours seeing if anyone came, but nobody came.
You realised they weren't playing that day.
No, they played that night. I think it was. They played that night against Wolves in the FA Cup. But yeah, Liverpool was good. I won't go into it too much because me and Reece will probably talk about it when he gets back. But we had a good laugh. We went out. We had a few drinks, like first time in a long time. Honestly, mate, me and Reece let loose in Liverpool.
Oh, I wish I were there. I'm not going to lie. I let loose a little bit whilst on holiday.
Did you? Did you get absolutely smashed every night?
I drank. I got onto this drink that I've not had since I was like a kid. It's called Shandy. It's half lager, half lemonade.
Mate, I know what a Shandy is. Telling me what a Shandy is like I'm fucking living under a rock. I think everybody knows what Shandy is. You used to get it in little cans as a kid, and you'd be like, "Oh, yeah, on it."
Shandy Bass, mate.
Yeah, Shandy Bass. You used to get it from the shops. It's nice.
Yeah.
But you didn't really get on it if you're having Shandy, mate. I think it's like 1%.
No. I honestly felt it. And then there was one time where they brought me something. They brought me a proper beer, and I was like, I actually feel drunk from one beer.
Yeah, to be fair, we were.
Like, I can't hack it.
No, you can't. When you never do it, you just can't. Like back in the day when I was probably like half the body weight that I am now. Like I could drink loads just because I was used to it. Like when you're like 18 and you're going out like every few weeks or whatever. Whereas now it's like no chance. We on the first night. I think we had like 1 drink, maybe 2 drinks. With like we went out for a meal and we're like, oh yeah, we'll get a drink. Like why not? I was deloading, so I was like, yeah, perfect deload, loads of steps, loads of alcohol, perfect deload, amazing recovery. But yeah, then the night after, we were like, right, we did an escape room, we were shit at it, and we were late, which pissed me off. So it's like, well, we're already going to lose because we're late. We went into the room and like 10 minutes had already gone. It was like, oh, fantastic. Then we went to the comedy club. Which was pretty good. Reece got the piss taken out of him. Like as soon as the host saw him, he was like, "Fucking hell, you're a big lad." And then he was like taking the piss out of Reece, but like in a nice way. He wasn't like being a dick. Obviously, it's what it's like. You go there, you're going to get the piss taken out of you. Then I got told I got a big neck. He was like saying stuff to Reece, and then he was like, "Oh, and your mate with a big neck." And I was like, "I'll take that." Like, fucking, that means I'm a big lad, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we went out, like, just to a few different bars, had a few drinks. It was a good laugh. It was a good laugh, to be fair. Like, see, I'd like not done that, to be fair. Well, I did it when it was my mate's stag do, but other than that, like in England, I've not done that for years.
Yeah.
But no, it was good. It was good. Went shopping. We went to golf. Did junkyard golf. I lost as well. I was awful, mate. I came dead last both times.
You've got to swing with your hips. So
Yeah,
you're not going to win, mate.
I couldn't move my hips. Fucked. That's what it is. Yeah, that's what I should have blamed it. I didn't even blame it on that. I should have done. But no, it was good. But for the listeners, me and Reece will go into all of our antics next time Reece is on. The next time Reece is on, it'll be like a catch up from that and from Reece being away in Toronto. They've not got their luggage.
Back?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. Maybe I think he said they're away for like 10 days. But yeah, they've not got their luggage. Not ideal. Yeah. Weird as well, because Shannon was saying when she was talking to Sanaya, Shannon was like, "Oh, because you've got a few layover flights, like they had a couple of changes. I think they went to Germany, then they went from Germany to Montreal, then from Montreal to Toronto." Shannon was like, "Make sure you put some outfits in a few different bags, like put some of Reece's clothes in your bags and vice versa, because if you lose your bags, you're fucked." So Shannon told them, and then it happened. And I think they did take that advice. Maybe, I'm not sure. But yeah, not ideal. I don't know if they're getting it sorted or what, but yeah, that'd be such a ball ache. Like,
that's like my worst nightmare. That I've been looking at the flights to Seattle in November for the Worlds, and every single one's either one or two changes.
Yeah.
So like you fly to San Francisco and then San Francisco to Seattle, or Dublin and New York and then Seattle. Yeah. If I lost my board shorts, I would be in pieces.
Yeah, you'd have to like.
I'd put them in my hand luggage.
Yeah, take some in yet. Take like the main things that if you lost everything else, what would you need? Board shorts. You can get food when you're there. Creatine. Yeah, creatine. Yeah, make sure you take that. I don't think you're only allowed what. I know you're allowed powders in your hand luggage. I always take powders in my hand luggage.
I ride on in my hand luggage.
Yeah, there's sound with it. Yeah. I have had clients like, "Can I take creatine? Can I take whey?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like I'll always literally just put it in a sandwich bag. Yeah, I just put it in a sandwich bag and I'll write on it what it is. So like, if they were like, "This is cocaine," I'm like, "Well, it's not. It says creatine on the bag, mate. So it's obviously creatine." Yeah. Like, if it was cocaine, I'd have wrote cocaine on the bag. So yeah, they can test it and stuff, can't they? Anyway, but like I always say, like they're not going to think you're fucking trying to smuggle cocaine if you've got 100 grams of creatine in your hand luggage. Right, mate. Did you get many questions?
I think I got like. How many did you get?
I'm not sure. I haven't looked yet. I'm trying to make this pen work. And I'll lick the pen.
What?
You lick the pen and it's not working.
No, never heard that in my life.
Really?
Strange. Yeah.
Guys, comment below on YouTube if you've licked the pen.
And if you've not, you've got to go and lick your pen now.
Yeah. If you've not, you've got to make sure you go onto Spotify and give us a review of 5 stars.
Yeah.
If you have licked, or if you haven't licked the pen.
To prove that you've licked the pen, when you're sharing the podcast this week, can you put a picture of the pen line on your tongue, please?
Or just put a pen emoji. Because that'll be easier for people. No, you don't get a line on the pen. It's not working, mate. So timestamps are going to be fucked. I'm having to just
put doing your notes.
Oh yeah, good idea. Good idea.
You've got 6 minutes left on your timer because you've still not paid for premium.
Yeah, that's all right, mate. We've got plenty of time, and then we'll do part 2. I'm just quickly checking the reviews. I'm pretty sure last week we had 211. We've got 226 now. It's going up rapidly. Oh. 15 this week. I think it was like 12 or something last week. Again, thank you very much, guys. If you're still listening at this point, we're like half an hour in. If you haven't rated us on Spotify already, please do go and rate us. Even if you just listen on YouTube, if you do have Spotify, please go and give us a rating. Likewise, on YouTube, if you listen to this point and you're not subscribed or you haven't liked the video, please do so. That would be massively appreciated. Josh, have you even given us a review?
I'm going to do it right now.
Good man.
Once you're in.
Right.
You're in.
This pen is not working. Right, let's get into some questions.
How do you do it?
Like I say, did you get many?
Yeah, I got 5. One of them was more of a statement, but 4 were questions. I'll read the statement. Mr. Instagram famous, but not quite as famous as Reece Fit, Jack_Eagles.
Yeah.
Best news I've seen week. Not seen this week, just I've seen week.
Yeah.
We'll actually listen to this one. So thanks for tuning in, Jack.
Yeah, appreciate it, Jack. Thank you, mate. Jack actually sent me a message this week. It was a screenshot of him overtaking me in followers. So I said that from now on he can have the podcast. I'll take all the revenue when it gets like really famous. But him and Reece, with the physiques they've got, with the fact that they'll both probably die relatively soon, so that'd be like big news. That's going to really help boost the podcast. So we'll come in after their death.
It'll be like Luke Sandow and Fuad.
Yeah, exactly. It blew up the podcast.
A genius, you.
Yeah,
you are.
Exactly.
Right. I have 4 questions.
Sorry if anyone's offended by that. R.I.P. to Luke. All respect. Yeah. I actually used to love the podcast when Luke was on it.
Yeah, I did.
I was gutted when he died.
I bought one of them little figurines. I've not got it in the flat. It's got my dad's, but yeah, I've got like the little Luke doing front double.
Right, go on then. Ask some more because I'm going to do the timestamps on my phone.
Right. First question is from Joe.Miad_. It's a lad that I prepped last year and completely misunderstood what I meant by carb loading. And he ate 5 crunchies in one day.
Fucking hell. Did you not tell him what to eat?
Yes, of course I told him what to fucking eat. His question is...
What did you tell him to eat? 5 crunchies?
I told him to eat 4, but he had
fucking hell,
mate. Right. Most recent thing learnt.
I can't handle drink.
No,
actually, I handled it very well. Like, you know, when you're at that point where you're like, I can tell I've had a drink, like, I'll just be sensible, have a few waters. Like, I was proper. To be fair, we all were like, we all had a good time, but we didn't go like, you know, when it's like fucking hell, somebody's like way over the top, like really drunk. You just think, what are you doing? We saw loads of people like that. I just think, like, people that are like, they look about 30 odd years old as well. It's like, how are you still getting in that state? Like, surely you've done this enough times to learn not to get like that.
I reckon people just do it because they've literally got nothing else going off in their life.
It's sad, that, isn't it, though?
Like, it genuinely makes me sad. You know, when I saw that lad in the hotel just drinking 40 bottles of beer, shouting, "Yeah, buddy."
You all right? Bless him. He's got nothing going for him. Otherwise, what have I learned?
I've learned something.
Go on then.
I've learned that a whale shark is the biggest form of shark in the world.
A whale shark.
A whale shark.
Thought it was a great white.
Finding Dory?
No.
Oh dear. There's a whale shark in it called Destiny.
Oh, is there? I'll have to watch it, mate. I'll have to watch it.
Great film. Finding Nemo is the goat, but Finding Dory is not.
Finding Nemo, like, I remember it as a kid, and I did like it, but I was never obsessed with it. Like with some other people, are obsessed with Finding Nemo. Like I remember, it's good, but it's just, I don't like films that are really sad. I remember it being really sad. I was like, well, they've lost Nemo. Like, it's sad.
Yeah, but the finding.
Yeah, well, you expect that with the name, but you know, like I always think there's parts in films that are just really sad. And I always just think, can we not just skip through this sad bit? Like, because I know it's going to get good at the end, especially with like kids' films. It's like really good at the start, and then it's like, oh, something bad happens.
Have you seen?
And it's good again.
What's that film with Lady Gaga in? A Star Is Born. Have you seen that?
I've not seen it, no.
Oh, you'd love it. It's got the happiest ending of a film that I've ever seen.
It hasn't, has it?
Yeah. It's such a good film. Watch it with Shannon tonight.
Mate, I don't have time to watch a film in the week. You know how busy I am. I don't have time to watch a film in the week, mate. Who do you think I am? Maybe Sunday I might have an hour or half an hour to watch an episode or something.
We'll just watch the end of A Star Is Born.
All right, yeah, I miss all the shit bit, all the sad bit in the middle.
Yeah.
Is there loads of sad bits and then it's really happy?
What's he called? I can't remember his name. The guy in it basically dies at the end.
Oh.
It's honestly, it's heartbreaking. Oh dear.
Okay, so next question. This is from Miles Mason. He actually asked us 2 questions, so we'll answer them both.
I have one from Miles as well, so
Yeah, go on then.
That's actually 3.
You do it first then.
Oh, thanks. You're so polite.
I know I am.
Would you rather have a head as big as Reece or nipples as big as Finn's?
Well, you can answer this. I have got massive nipples, to be fair.
I didn't think they were that big.
They are pretty big. I quite like them though. I like how big they are. I'd rather them be big than small.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, like them, like little, weird nipples.
No chance of getting any milk out of those. I get loads of milk out of mine.
Yeah. Has that ever happened? Just out of curiosity, has milk ever come out of your boobs?
Yeah, usually, mate. Quite a lot. Like once a month. Usually, it's like my time of the month. It's like I just need a bit of milk in, and then it's all good.
Yeah. In the cupboard over there, I've got one of the, the milkers.
Yeah.
Anyway, what would I rather have? I think I'd rather have big nips.
You've got quite a small head. You've got quite a small, thin head. Like, I've got a big head, to be fair.
No, mate. What you're failing to recognise is that I am massive.
Yeah, that's what it is. To be fair, Reece has got a big head because he's got a big body, but his head still looks big. His head didn't used to look big. His head used to look really small, but since he started all the gear, his head's blown up. So
that video of him on YouTube is his head doesn't look very big there.
What, when he was 15?
Yeah, when he's 15, it's gone mega viral.
Hi guys, just give me a review on my physique.
Just let me know what you think about my physique, guys. Yeah, I've been training for about 6 weeks now. I've been doing gear for 2 years. Work that one out.
Bless him. Right, so Miles asked me, would you rather be in a long-term relationship with Josh or Reece? Now, I feel like I don't know Josh well enough to say no, but I know Reece well enough to say no. Like, no chance I'd want to be in a long-term relationship with Reece.
Why not?
Mate, a weekend with him is enough.
Really?
Yeah. Nah, I'm joking. Like, he's sound, but I couldn't live with him. Like, no chance. I couldn't live with him. Like, I'd get pissed off with him because he's just, he knows he is, but he gets proper defensive whenever I tell him that he's messy or he's like a bit like, he doesn't like it because he knows it's true. Yeah, I couldn't live with Reece. Like, I can have a weekend with him. I could go on holiday with him and stuff, but yeah, I couldn't live with him. So I could have a long-term relationship that was long distance where I never see him. That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. Yeah. But I feel like I don't know you well enough to say I could or couldn't live with you because you might be a nightmare as well.
I think if you asked Annabella, she would say that I'm a little bit of a nightmare. I've been told off twice today already. Not dusting enough, and
really? I've never dusted anything.
You've never dusted anything?
Nah, I don't dust, mate. Like, I don't mind if something's dusty, it's dusty. Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? If it's like horrendous, then I might, I'll give it a wipe. But like, I feel like Shannon will regularly clean anyway. Like, so I don't really notice if stuff gets dusty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, like, because we live in a flat, like, it's not our flat. Obviously, we rent. Like, when we get our own place, then I'll be more concerned about it.
You'll be obsessed.
Yeah.
You'll be obsessed.
Yeah. Whereas now I'm like, like top of that TV there is probably really dusty. But it is what it is, mate.
Just dusty.
But I'm like, I feel like I'm relatively clean. Like, I'll never leave dishes on the side or leave clothes like just fucking on the floor or whatever. Like, I'll always clean up after myself, but I don't clean up after the dust because that's not my fault.
Yeah, that's
just my dead skin, but I didn't mean for it to go over there.
Yeah, I understand.
1 sec. The other question from Miles, because Miles asked me too. He asked, "What does Josh think about swimming?" Floor's yours, mate.
I love swimming. I'm going to sound a little bit posh. When I was growing up, my grandparents had a swimming pool in their house. I used to go swimming every day. I loved it. That's cool. Why is he asking that? Because he looks a bit like a swimmer.
No, because he's going to start swimming for cardio.
Okay.
So he sent me a screenshot the other day saying he's going to be a hybrid athlete and he'd bought some swimming goggles on Amazon. He's not going to be a hybrid athlete. He just wants to do swimming as his form of cardio.
I'm going to unfollow him if he becomes hybrid.
Yeah. But no, I said fair enough. I was like, yeah, I like swimming. I think the only thing is with me, like swimming's just a ball ache in terms of you've got to get dressed, you've got to fucking get dry after. Like, I guess it's the
You've
same.
got to
Like,
go and find somewhere with a pool.
yeah, not everyone can just go to their grandparents. To be fair, my best mate from back at home had a pool.
Really?
It was good.
Yeah, your mate's a bougie. You played tennis with one, swimming with the other.
I know, mate. To be fair, back at home, it's quite a nice area, mate. It's well, some people are wealthy there. Not everybody.
Yeah.
Some people.
I did forget for a second. We've got a swimming pool at the flat.
There you go, then.
There we go. So I might become hybrid as well, Miles.
I just think like I like swimming. Like on holiday, I do enjoy swimming, but
yeah,
it is just a bit of a ball ache.
Well, would you swim lengths on holiday, or would you just go in the pool to cool off?
Depends. Like in the past, like I've done lengths as my cardio. Like I've just like in the morning, I've been like, oh, I'll do like a bit of not like I have to do a certain amount. I'll just go and do a bit. Yeah. But then through the day, I wouldn't be doing lengths when they've got like Zumba going on. So I fucking get everyone out of the way. I just do it in the morning when it's quiet.
It's swimming in the channel.
Yeah, I do like swimming on holiday. And I think it's one of them, like, it's if you were to have a pool, you wouldn't use it all the time.
No.
Like I say, like when we were younger, like my mate never used it.
Yeah.
Like his family never used it. They just had it because it was like a cool thing to have.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I use the pool like once every other week. That's that. I have a question from the real king, Tom Hermitage, of Hermitage Fitness. It's quite a good one. Any advice for people starting out with online coaching?
No advice. No advice, mate. Sorry. Now, to be fair, we speak about this quite a lot. Like people want to know sort of how everything should be done at the start, or they expect everything to be perfect. Like, just do it. Stop worrying about it. Just start. If you want to do online coaching, just start. If you want to do YouTube, just start. If you want to do a podcast, just start a podcast. Like, don't overthink it. Like, how did I know how to do a podcast? I Googled it. Like, how to do a podcast. I need to find, you know what I mean? Yeah, mate. You find like, I wouldn't have known how to upload a podcast to Spotify randomly. You know what I mean? Like,
fair enough.
Yeah, like you have to find out. Like, Google it. Yeah, like with online coaching, obviously you could Google it. It'd probably come up with loads of different stuff, but like there's not really any one way that you have to do anything. Like do you use like True Coach?
Yeah.
So Josh uses True Coach. Me and Reece use like Google Sheets. I use like WhatsApp for all my client communications. Other people do it via email. Other people do it by whatever. Like, do what you want to do. Don't overthink it. And the thing is as well, like my coaching has drastically improved over years because you learn from things that aren't working and then you adjust it and be like, okay, this isn't really working. Let's change it. It's like in the past, I had client sheets for training. I had a separate sheet for nutrition. I had a separate sheet for this. Whereas I was like thinking that why on earth do I do that? Now I've got it all in one place, all on different tabs at the bottom. It's like in the past, it's just like I just didn't know what I was doing because I was starting. So like you're going to have to go through that at some point, and you'll only be a better coach for doing that rather than sort of trying to do what everyone else is doing. You know what I mean? Like fair enough. Like a lot of people do that now. A lot of people you'll see like they're coaching. Everybody's sheets look similar and this and that. Like but that's irrelevant. Like I've said to Reece before, like it's all well and good having good sheets and a good logo and a good brand name and a good tagline and all these things that are supposedly going to make your brand and your business grow. But if you're a shit coach, none of that matters. Like the reason that you do well is because you're a good coach. The reason that me and Reece do well is because we're good coaches. We work really hard. Like we're constantly working basically.
Yeah.
Like, that's what makes you a good coach is working all the time, working really hard, being there for your clients, you know, continuously trying to improve and learn and better yourself and better your clients, setting a good example. Nothing I've said there is about your sheets or your logo or anything like that.
I think they matter so little in the grand scheme of things. It's bad.
It's more so like in terms of being if you want to look at it in terms of that, I think growing a business and being successful from a financial standpoint is very different to being a good coach. There's loads of coaches out there that will make a lot more money than us who will be absolutely shit. And their retention is awful. They get 100 people in the door one month and 100 people going out the next month. Like they're just they never retain clients. Like I have clients that I've coached for like 2-3 years. Like the service has only got better in those 2-3 years. You know, it doesn't. I'm not becoming complacent because I've coached them for a certain amount of time. Like you know, if you care about what you do and if you're actually a good coach, and that doesn't mean you have to know everything. I don't know everything. You don't know everything. Like none of us know everything. There's always more to learn. Like even, you know, for example, like with yourself, like, yeah, you've gone and you've won a lot of shows and you're a pro now. That doesn't mean that you're all of a sudden a better coach. Like, you know, that doesn't dictate whether or not you have a better work ethic or, you know, how well you are sort of, you know, able to manage your clients and things like that. Like, so I think a lot of people determine like personal accomplishments with coaching. It's like, doesn't really matter. Like if you've got a good physique, it doesn't make you a good coach. Like, yeah, it can help because you'll get more clients. You get, you know, it's easier to get leads because you look good on Instagram. So you're going to get more followers. You're going to get more clients applying and things like that. But that's not going to dictate how well your business grows because you'll just lose all those clients if you're a shit coach.
Yeah. I always find it a bit bizarre when people like, this is obviously no offense to anyone that's done this in the past or planning on doing it in the future. It's just my opinion. I find it a bit bizarre when people launch the coaching after them competing. It's like, if you've just competed, the odds on you getting competitive clients are very, very slim because if you're competitive, if you're someone that wants to compete, you're going to go for someone that's got loads of experience in themselves and in their clients. Yeah, you may as well, like, I don't know, just get hands-on experience, like go and become a PT before becoming an online coach, or coach your friends for free or at a massively discounted rate, and then kind of use them transformations as your marketing rather than like, I've just done a PCA show and come seventh. Like, you know, make it more about other people rather than yourself.
Yeah. No, that's it. Like I always think as well, like you're probably similar. Like I forget to post about myself on social media, like especially on my stories. Like I'll post myself in terms of my own training, my own physique and things like that. But on my stories, like it's just my business. Like very rarely do I post on my story about like me, about what I'm doing that day, or because it's just work. You know what I mean? It's like, whereas I'll see other people's stories and it's like a documentary of their lives and who they are as an individual. I completely forget to do that. I should do it more. But
mate, I don't even use it for bloody business. Like I don't know. I don't have like a kind of emotional attachment to posting stuff on Instagram all the time. Like whether it's for business or for work, I'd rather just get on with the work rather than like take a photo of, oh yeah, I've just done a check-in. I know, like obviously you do that, but it's just
No, I get what you mean. Like I think
there's not one way of doing it. There's like several ways of getting, you know, to the end goal or whatever.
I think especially when you're starting out, you should post a lot about it in terms of, like you say, you know, clients making progress, you doing check-ins, things like that. I'm just in the habit of doing it. So like I'll still do it. But like there'll be days where I'm like, oh shit, I've not really posted. But then you're resharing client stories all the time and stuff anyway. But until you get to that point, you probably do need to post more about it to get to that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a few years ago, every check-in I'd post. I'd be like, oh, I've done another check-in because I've only got 5 to do. So I'll post every one. You know what I mean? Whereas now it's like I might post 1 or 2 a day out of 12 or 15 or whatever I've done on that given day. So it's like I'll just, if I get time, I'll remember to take a couple of photos and be like, you know, if it's something that I'm like, oh, we've spoke about in the check-in, that's a big thing. Like if we're, you know, changing a phase or whatever, you know what I mean? But yeah, like there is no right or wrong. Like you said, you know, start off coaching people for free. I used to coach people for free, like for quite a while. Like when I first started, I never thought that was going to help me grow my business. I didn't even think about it at the time. I was like, I enjoy this. And if someone wants help, I'll help them. Like, I feel like now, because it's such a popular thing, it's like, oh, I'm not going to coach people for free. Like, you know, I know that this person's charging X amount. It's like, yeah, but that person's been doing it for years.
How am I going to move to Dubai if I'm not charging people?
Like, when I first started coaching, like, and I didn't even think of it as coaching back then because it wasn't like in my head. It was just helping people that I knew, helping mates from school or helping people that I worked with for free, like while I was doing my PT course or when I'd just got my PT qualification and stuff like that. Never in a million years was I doing that to get to where I am now. But I obviously was, but I didn't realize that I was just doing it because I enjoyed it. Whereas like, I feel like that's lost now. Like it won't be completely, but I feel like now that people do see people going to Dubai and making loads of money and stuff, they think, oh, I can do that. It's like, yeah, but you're not willing to put in the groundwork. Like 6-7 years ago, I was coaching people for free. Like, and that feels like 2 years ago. Like it's absolutely flown. But if you keep just doing the day to day, before you know it, you'll get to the point where you want to be, and you go, shit, I've just literally put in the work every day. Like I'd say over the past 5 or so years, there's not been that many days that I haven't maybe posted something about coaching, or I haven't been in contact with clients. You know what I mean? It's like, if you do that continuously every day, even if it's just something very small that's going to better you or better your business or promote your business, like you do that every day, before you know it, 1,000 days have gone by and you've made a lot of progress. Like it's the same with training, same with anything.
It's like, it's that snowball effect, isn't it? Yeah.
Can we answer the question that we never got round to, Phil's question?
Yes, we absolutely can.
Sorry, Phil. We forgot to answer your question.
Yeah, sorry, Phil. And anyone that thought, oh, I bet Phil had a really good question.
Yeah, because we mentioned it, didn't
we? We spoke about it, but then never actually spoke about it. Yeah. So, for anyone that doesn't know, Phil is one of my clients. He's an absolute ledge. He came over last year, so 2022, from Australia and competed at the WNBF Supernaturals. He placed 6th, which was just outside of the medals. Medals obviously went to the top 5. World's invites went to the top 3. So, that is the background on Phil. And Phil's question is, how to recover mentally when you feel you let everyone down? It's a deep one.
It is a deep one, mate. It's very deep. But yeah, like, you're not letting anyone down. Like, without, this sounds like I'm being rude, and it's not to Phil or to anybody, but like, in the grand scheme of things, amateur bodybuilding is nothing. It's very small. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a big deal. You've not let everybody down. You've not gone and ruined people's lives. You've not gone and done anything drastically wrong. Like, you just didn't place at a bodybuilding show. Like, it's not the end of the world. As much as you really wanted to win or really wanted to place and you didn't, that doesn't mean you've let anyone down. It just means that other people were maybe better than you on the day, or that the judging just didn't go your way on the day. Like, I think Phil looked great, like, but that doesn't matter because I'm not a judge. Like, you're a judge and you let him lose, which is just not good enough, mate. But no, like, in all seriousness, like, at the time, it feels like the end of the world, doesn't it? It feels like, oh my God, I wanted to place and I didn't win. Like it feels like such a big thing because you put so much time, so much effort, so much energy into the prep. It's like all you think about and all you focus on for 6 months or whatever it may be. If it doesn't go your way, you think, what the fuck? That was all a waste of time. Like, you end up being really upset about it. And I get that, but you haven't let anyone down. Like, you haven't even let yourself down. Like, what I would say is, if you, let's say, 2 days out, binged and then didn't compete, you've let yourself down there because you put in all the groundwork and you just bottled it right at the end. Like, or if you binged and then you looked really shit compared to how you would look. But I'm 99% sure Phil didn't do that because he still looked really good. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't do himself a disservice. It wasn't like, what the fuck has Phil done? Like, he looks awful. Yeah, he looked really good. He just didn't place because there were other people that looked really good. Like, and that's what people have got to realize. Like, at the end of the day, what matters is what you've done as an individual. Did Phil get in good shape? Yeah. Did Phil work really hard? Yeah. Did he enjoy the process? Did he learn a lot? Did he meet new people? He never met me. He never met Reece. He'd never gone to the hashtag Mecca. So, like, he got so much out of it. He just didn't get the result.
Yeah. Like, the show is almost the irrelevant part. The end result is almost the irrelevant part.
Yeah.
It's like almost kind of relating to what we're on about with the coaching. It's the build up to things and how you've kind of got to, like, change your way of thinking or change your life or change your routine, whatever, to achieve a goal. That's the bit that matters, because that's a transferable skill with everything else. Like, if you want to get, like, you want to be a CEO of a company, you've got to go through the process of whatever it takes to become a CEO.
Yeah, when you get to that point, if you didn't get to that point, you wouldn't think, oh, I've let everybody down. You just think, okay, I didn't get to that point. Maybe I'm not at that point yet. Maybe I'll be at that point. And, like, I'm sure in the future, Phil, even if he didn't compete, like if he does compete in the future, I'm sure he'll do well. Whether that means winning or not, it doesn't matter because it's about him and whether or not he beats his last showing, for example.
Yeah.
And if he wasn't to compete, that doesn't mean you've let everyone down or that you've failed in bodybuilding or anything like that. Like, not in the slightest. Like there can be a scenario where you don't win, but you still have done really well. You know what I mean? Like, and a lot of that is based on the competition. Like, if those 5 lads that beat Phil didn't turn up, he'd have thought completely differently. He'd think, "Oh my god, I've won and I've done amazingly," but that's just because 5 people didn't turn up. You know what I mean? It's completely dependent on who else is there. Like, it as much as like bodybuilding is obviously a very competitive sport, it also isn't, because it's like, you know, and you see it all the time. Like, look at the Olympia. The guys who lose, like sometimes there's people that are a bit like, you know, they're a bit arseholes, but like people that lose, they're like always really happy for the other people and they're happy with how they've done, happy with how they've placed. Like they might be a bit frustrated that they didn't win, but if they know that they've done everything and they just got beat by someone a bit better on the day, you can't get upset about that, or you can't be thinking I've let people down. Like, you haven't in the slightest. So yeah, don't overthink it, because it's really, like, as much as at the time it feels like the fucking end of the world, it's really not a big deal. Like, it's just a small bodybuilding show that, yeah, you know, you want it to do well and everybody wants to do well, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not a big deal. Like, and I think the sooner you realize that, the less pressure you put on yourself and the more that you'd actually enjoy the prep as well.
I think me and Phil obviously discussed it at length. One thing that I would have changed about Phil's almost mentality towards it all is not kind of mentioning the W word, winning.
Yeah.
Just focus on doing your best throughout the process and day by day, yada, yada, yada. And don't even think about the end result. Like, if there's anyone listening that's competing this year for the first time, don't think about winning. Think about doing your best and making sure, like, you go full Rob Taylor on it and it's gas mark 10 and no stone left unturned. Don't worry about winning. Don't worry about losing. Just do the process to the best of your ability.
Yeah, you don't have any control. Like, in my head, like, this is how I see it. Like that. Like, if you think about winning or losing, it shouldn't really matter. Like, I'm not going to work any harder because I'm thinking about winning the show. You know what I mean? I'm just going to work as hard as I possibly can, regardless. But for some people, that's not the case. Some people need to think like, oh, I've got to do this because I want to win. I've got to do this. Like, instead, like, just think, I've got to do this because this is what I've set out to do, and I want to do the best that I can, and I want to give myself the best chance of winning. And then if I win on the day, I win on the day, and if I don't, I don't. But I know that I've done absolutely everything. If you haven't done everything, then you need to look back and go, well, why haven't I? Yeah, and if for you, sort of not focusing on the result actually takes away from that, then I would argue you may be in it for the wrong reasons, because you can't just be focusing on the result, because you're not going to win every single show you ever do. Even if you're the best bodybuilder in the world, you'll get beaten at times. So you're going to have times where you think that you've let everybody down, even though you haven't. Like, best bodybuilders ever will lose shows. You know what I mean? So no matter how good you are, you'll still lose at certain times. Like, so you need to get used to losing as well. And if you just obsess over winning, it's a good mentality to have if you can deal with that sort of pressure. But a lot of people can't. If you can deal with the pressure, awesome. Like, fucking tell yourself you're going to win every single morning, and use that as a sort of a tool to help you. But if you can't deal with that pressure, then you don't need to be thinking about it.
Yeah. Do you think you're going to win your shows this year?
No, like, but that's like, that won't change how hard I work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just very realistic. I think that I'm okay. I think that I can do pretty well, but I think there's probably going to be people who are better than me. Depends on the shows, depends who turns up. Like, that doesn't dictate. If I'd have just said then, yeah, I'm going to fucking win every show.
Yeah.
Neither of those are going to dictate how hard I work. I'm still going to work as hard as I possibly can. I'm still going to make sure I get in shape. I'm still going to make sure that I do everything as I want to do, as I've planned out. Whether or not I'm saying I'm going to win, or I'm saying we'll see. I think I'll do the best that I'll obviously do the best that I can possibly do, and we'll see. Neither of those are going to dictate how I actually react or perform in the prep. For some people, that probably will, which is fine. But for me, like I say, that's not going to change my work ethic. Whether or not I tell myself I'm going to win or tell myself I might not win, it isn't going to change what I do in the lead up. And then on the day, all that matters is whoever else turns up. Do you think you're going to win?
I think I'm going to be the best version of myself ever this year. I've had a pretty good last 14 months of training and nutrition. Like, my food's been spot on. Everything in my life is aligned now for the shows this year. I'm not bothered about the result. I'm in a different league now, like with the pro stuff. I have no idea who could turn up to shows. Yeah, I just know that like I'm literally just going to give everything to it.
If you were still an amateur, what would you say? If I had to say, do you think you'll win?
Yeah, I would. And if you'd said to me, "Oh, Josh, would you have won last year?" Like, I don't think. Besides Jovan, and that, like, even then, I think I would have him on elements of the criteria. I don't think there'd have been anyone that would have beat me last year. Sorry, guys.
I think Jovan would have beat you.
Yeah.
I do think he will. I just think because he's just got like stupid shape, stupidly bubbly. Like you'd have beat him from the back, but I do think it's a difficult one because you don't know until you stand next to him.
You don't know.
But he was good. He was very good.
Yeah, very good, very good. But yeah, the other guys, the one of the other reasons why I say that. So David Langsdale won the short class. I beat David twice. There were a guy called Baz that won the tall class. I beat him in the past. So I don't think there'd have been any different results.
I do agree. I think you against Jovan, it'd be close. You're very different. You know what I mean? Like you've got quite different physique, so I'm not sure like how you'd look stood next to him. Because he is very good. Right, next question. Jaden Morris has asked us, what are tidy up phases and when would they be needed to be used?
So tidy up phase. So if you look at like my last 2 weeks, if I'd have come back off holiday and been like 10 kilos heavier, I see them as like they're a short period of time to rectify equally a short period of time. If you've spent 6 months being a fat bastard eating whatever you want, your tidy up phase probably isn't going to look like a tidy up phase. It's going to look more like an actual diet. So it's like a short period of aggressive dieting. Well, that's what I would do anyway.
Yeah, I think you could I think with the term you could probably interchange it with a mini cut or a rapid fat loss phase. They're just terms that are thrown around. Like I would generally say to a client like a tidy up phase, but in the same breath I might say a mini cut or a rapid fat loss phase. Like they're all very much a similar thing.
In my head, they're all the same.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could argue, oh well, there's slight differences based on this or this or this, but like ultimately they're all a short period where you're going to pull body fat down a little bit because you've maybe got a little bit soft or your appetite's not the best. Or when you're looking at your time frame, it probably makes sense to diet now because you then got another year where you can gain, and you're going on holiday, so you're not that fat at all, but you just want to pull back a little bit, just tidy up before the holiday, so you're in a bit of a better spot. Or post holiday, you've got a bit soft, so you just want there's loads of different scenarios that you could use it, but it's just a term for a short diet phase where you're just going to pull back a little bit because you're maybe not in the best of spots right now compared to where you were a month, 2 months, 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Cool. Next one. This is a good one for you, mate. Where to get MP board shorts? Fave brands? Question mark.
I'll tell you who not to get them from. There's a company called Show Shorts, and they are the smallest shorts that you could ever imagine. Like, I haven't got very big legs, and I genuinely can't fit my legs in their shorts. They're horrific.
Yeah.
Anyone that knows Gerald Alavazo, who's a PCA pro, claims natty but does not look natty. Do you know who Gerald is?
Yeah.
He's got his brand Vazo, which is obviously play on words from his name. They seem pretty good. I think Kez wore them this year. My favourites are called Alter, which is from the GOAT and the God, basically, Ryan Terry. So if you go onto Alta Athletics, I think that's the name of the website, you can find yourself some shorts there. I compete at about 28 inch on the waist, and I wore a medium. If that's, point of reference for you. Alpha Elite do shorts, they're quite good value for money. And that's pretty much it.
There's one, what is it, Chula wear?
Chula, they look shit.
Chula. Yeah, loads of people wear them.
Yeah,
I like the Alta ones. I think they're good. Yeah. Isn't Macca's bringing out some? I think he'll want us to mention that.
Silly me. Yeah, Macca looks like he's bringing out some board shorts. So I look forward to receiving a free pair of them, Macca. Cheers,
yeah,
mate.
Same, mate. Even though I won't wear them. No, don't send me any, mate. They'll go to waste. Although I keep getting asked if I'm going to do men's physique. We got the next question. Will we ever see Finn doing men's physique poses and Josh doing bodybuilding poses? What do you think, mate?
I spoke to Tam, one of my boys, who turned pro last year.
Yeah, he looks good.
Yeah, he's very good. I would like to give bodybuilding a go, but it's going to be like in years and years, if ever. Yeah. My legs aren't quite there. I think my upper body would be okay, but yeah, it's an X frame rather than a V taper that they look for.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Like, I'm not suited to men's physique, but because my upper body's better than my legs, everybody thinks I'm suited to men's physique. You know what I mean? Like, I could do men's physique and I could probably do all right, but I could also do bodybuilding and probably do all right. You know what I mean? I'm not like definitely suited. Like, for example, Kez. Like, Kez is so suited to men's physique. Like, yeah, he could do classic and he'd look good, but he's really suited to men's physique. Joven, really suited to men's physique. Like, just got like the tiny, tiny waist, really wide shoulders. I don't have that. You can pose to accentuate that, and I could make myself look pretty decent in men's physique. But like I say, I could also make myself look pretty decent in bodybuilding. My upper body is more dominant than my legs, so people think I should do men's physique. And I get that, but I'm still not like, if you were to just look at me from a structural perspective, you wouldn't go, yeah, he should do men's physique.
Yeah. There's also like another kind of variable to consider. On the subject of Kez wanted to do classic this year, or last year, should I say. But the areas that he found quite hard to get fat from, so his legs and his arse, kind of dictated what class he competed in. Like, you could have like a lovely X frame and, oh yeah, your legs are massive. But if you can't get your legs lean, then that's going to kind of hamper your results. So you are probably going to be more suited to men's physique.
Yeah. It's something, to be fair, that in the future, like, I wouldn't be against. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be like, no, I'm never doing men's physique. Like, I might give it a go. Yeah, I'm not a fucking pussy. I train legs. I might give it a go at some point in the future. Like, why not? But I'm not really thinking about doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right, we've got a few minutes. This one says it's from Munro BM Fitness. Not a question. Josh over Reece. Long live the Natty podcast.
Oh,
Reece is out. Josh is in. And then I got one from Max Fowler, who he messaged me the question, and then I messaged him back saying, asking the question box because I'll forget. So he just put question in DMs. And his question was...
what a lazy bastard.
You what?
What a lazy bastard.
Mate, I'd forget.
That's the question again.
Oh, right, yeah. No, it's because it's too long. So he put question for pod. Because it's a natty pod, what would you name this session? Calves, lying hamstring curl, glute drive, stiff leg, yeah buddy row, pendulum. What would you name that session, mate?
Of course, it's density day, bro.
Yeah, it's density day. Yeah, he then put in brackets, I'm expecting you to call it density, as only natties can.
Yeah, it's obviously density.
It's density day. Apparently,
if you asked me to plan a density day, I would literally just say what you've just said.
Yeah, I don't know. He's quite. Yeah, I don't know. I maybe changed the lying hamstring curl to a seated hamstring curl.
I'd stick more
quite early. I'd maybe put the glute drive later on. Pendulum, you could change that for any squat or leg press pattern. Otherwise, it's pretty dense. It's pretty dense.
Do you do a density day?
No, mate. I do a posterior day.
Oh,
see, I can't be that dense. If I could hinge it, it'd be density.
I'm going to obviously go against what I've said. I also do posterior day. I don't do
Posterior is
density.
like the pussy version of density day.
Mm,
It's for those who aren't very strong and don't train very hard. So that's us, mate. When I'm
So
injury free, density day every session, mate. Every session. That's
every
usual.
day.
That's probably why I get injured, because I do density day all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that you can class that as a density day. You can't call it posterior because it's got quads in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you got any more questions, mate?
Um,
If you have, we've got 2 minutes.
Best 5 day split for bodybuilding, bruh.
Depends on the individual.
That's from Jim_account_Sam, who's one of my clients.
Oh, is his name Jim or Sam?
Sam.
Oh, cool.
I might start calling him Jim.
Yeah, or account.
Okay.
So yeah, depends on the strengths and weaknesses of that individual. Generally, if I have a client who says they want to do 5 days, I'll probably get them on like a pull, push, legs, rest, upper, lower, or legs, push, pull, rest, lower, upper, dependent on their strengths and the weaknesses. If they're stronger through the legs, then I'll get them doing pull first. If they're stronger through the back, then I'll get them doing legs first. I'll generally always have push in between just because I don't want pull and legs next to each other. But that you don't have to do that. You could do a bro split. You could do 3 uppers and 2 lowers if you're really lower dominant, or there's loads of variations you could have.
Yeah. I think as long as you've got a density day in there or a posterior session,
then you'll be fine.
In it.
Right, let's wrap it up, mate, because we're going to get kicked off. So that is that episode number 77. Thank you for joining us, mate. As always, do appreciate you coming on in Reece's spell.
Can you give me more notice next time? Because I'm going to buy a mic.
Yeah, I'll give you more notice, mate. I just didn't know whether or not Reece. You can blame Reece for that because he just didn't tell me whether or not he was doing it. So yeah, I will try and give you more notice next time. But yeah, thank you for coming on, mate. Everyone, say thank you to Josh if you're still listening at this point. If you are still listening at this point, please rate us on Spotify. Please give us a good rating. Comment on YouTube, like on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. That's number 77, episode 77, and we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.